welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with one of my co-hosts, Alex.
And today we are reviewing Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan, because he took on this dual role as Smoke and Stack, directed by Ryan Coogler once again. The duo, I guess in this movie, the trio, team up once again, and boy oh boy, was this a fucking film. And I'm so glad that I went to go see this early, actually, and on a big fucking screen, because it was worth it. What are your initial thoughts walking out of the theater, like when you went to go see this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you talked about, we got the dynamic duo, the trio even, as Michael B. and Michael Z were the two leads of this one. Yeah, I mean, this movie definitely was lived up to what Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler have cooked up in the past. Obviously, you had really Creed 1 and 2 as Ryan Coogler stepped away from Creed 3, which that was Michael B. Jordan's debut as directing. And then obviously you can go back to his first one, Fruitvale Station. And then also, obviously, Black Panther, somewhat Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, as Michael B. Jordan did have a cameo in that, but obviously he wasn't a big lead. So, yeah. These two have worked together quite a few times, and honestly, this is the dynamic trio, as you can't talk about this movie without talking about the score and what Ludwig did, and obviously him and Ryan Coogler have a long relationship, friendship, I guess is a better word, but going back to them being in college and working together, and yeah, Ludwig killed it on the score, so really it is the dynamic trio in this one. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about with this movie in terms of the messaging, just everything in it. This movie is phenomenal. So, we're not going to go into the super detailed, in-depth one, as, there'd just be a lot to cover, but, obviously just one of the greatest scenes ever in terms of what drew those vampires to come to the juke joint was, Samuel playing, and I mean, it's tough not to say this is one of the greatest scenes that I can think of. Like, this scene's up there. That the music was phenomenal, and then when it kind of joins in with, you know, that connecting of like the past and going through other artists and other music, the camera work through it. Yeah, I mean, you can see why, you know, the vampires are drawn to it, because I cannot get that scene out of my head. The amount of TikToks and stuff I watched of that scene, that was unbelievable. But yeah, anyways, right. They show
and
up.
It also connects to the future too.
Yeah, it goes. It's an amazing scene.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like I know, like a lot of people were saying, like it depends on how you interpret it, but some people might not like it, and it might come out of like left field. But for others, it's like it makes sense for what they're trying to tell. You know,
yeah.
like the music that you're playing connects you to your ancestors from the past, and evidently the ones in the future. So you get that kind of visualization for a movie, and to show you exactly what that means. So, but that whole sequence in itself is a technical feat. Ryan Coogler directed the shit out of that. I mean, to have all those moving pieces, and it was all like a oneer there. It was just going throughout the whole juke joint, and you just see all these different like attires. At first, it's like the same, you know. I think it was 1932, or like early 30s attire, and then you start seeing people from the past. You start seeing people from the future, and like the music starts to like meld. And yes, and like you were saying, it attracts Remick, who is like the main villain, and the other two whites who are now vampires. And yeah, that scene was crazy. That was probably the scene of the movie, if I had to say so myself.
Oh, I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, we're doing a review. I guess I don't really need to do a breakdown of it. We're just talking about it. But obviously, people, if you've seen it, you know what happens. If you haven't seen it, you're not really watching this review anyways. But obviously, Remick and them show up. Obviously, some crazy vampire shit starts happening. You know, you learn some deeper things about kind of that Remick is he's an Irish guy, and he is basically his people were kind of forced out by, you know, the Europeans and the English mainly, the British fuck the Brits. But basically, he just wants to connect with his ancestors, and that's kind of what his whole vampire colony is in a way. Is he's just trying to get mainly Samuel. He wants because he's the one who drew him there because of his music and how it connected with their ancestry. Remick basically just wants Samuel because of how amazing of an artist he is. So then he goes on. Remick, he hears some music playing. He has to go out and do a banger of his own. So he does, Rocky Road to Dublin. Some great Irish jigging in there. That was an interesting scene as well. But then, yeah, obviously at the end, the vampires can't come in unless you're invited. Stuff happens. The one lady lets them in. Now you get a big fight. It's kind of, people sacrifice themselves to get Samuel out of here because they now know that they're after Samuel. And, obviously the movie kind of wraps up from there. If there's a big fight, whatever. Like we said, if you've seen the movie, you know what we're talking about. We don't need to go into that big of a review over it, a recap of it. I think the main things to talk about, obviously that scene was unbelievable. The acting all around was incredible. I mean, like we've talked about, like it is Michael B. Jordan, obviously is a Smokestack twin, Smoke and Stack. You don't even think about it at all that it's the same guy. Like obviously they're twins, yes, but it's unbelievable how well this is directed and acted, that you can tell the difference between the twins in like their physical, how they act, how they talk, and just kind of their mannerisms. But I mean, it was incredibly well done that you could not tell at all. Obviously there's a lot of behind the scenes of this, of him wearing like this huge halo thing of cameras and different things around him for when he's one of them. But the editing is so well done that you can't even like tell anything. But the writing on this movie is phenomenal. There's a lot of people talking about it. Some of it is just incredibly deep and meaningful, and some of just Ryan Coogler being a little freaky with it, which people are talking about as well. That's funny. A lot of Josh Allen memes going around. Thoughts and prayers out to you, MVP. But yeah, this movie, the acting all around, Haley Steinfeld was phenomenal. Miles Canton, like we talked about, his debut as an actor. There's so many different people in this movie to talk about with that, but
crazy.
It was
all around cast was just bringing it, dude. They just like, they said, okay, bet Ryan is going to bring his A game. We're going to bring it and match him. And you just got like a masterpiece in fucking April. Like we still got the whole rest of the year, and I'm not too sure that there's anything that's going to even come close to this, to be honest with you.
For me, now, agreed.
I mean, I'm going to hold out on it still because it's, like I said, it's April, but I don't see it happening. Genuinely. This was just like, I left the movie theater and I couldn't stop thinking about the movie. It was just like the layers, and then I kept seeing stuff afterwards. Is like, if you didn't notice, when Remick first opened, or when he first gets introduced and he's running away, you see like vultures kind of like around like the whole area, like kind of representing culture vulture, and he's kind of wanting to do that. So it's like perhaps maybe that's like symbolism there. It's like, dude, the amount of
so much
attention to detail, the writing, directing, the cinematography, beautiful fucking movie. And I don't know if they had it in your showing. Did they show like the different aspect ratios once it became like the IMAX sequences, or did it just stay the same for you?
No, it just stayed the same. Mine doesn't have like actual IMAX stuff.
Yeah, no, for me, it had it like where it was kind of like big screen, and then in certain sequences, the screen would get taller, and it's like, especially once she lets them in and everyone starts to line up, it's like kind of like sort of widescreen, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you just see like the whole inside of the juke joint, and just the whole final battle happens, and it's in that big IMAX sequence. It looks amazing. So I know by now Thunderbolts is already gonna take over IMAX, but if you haven't already, you need to go see this at IMAX. It's just wow. It's an amazing feat. Ryan Coogler is going to be highly sought after, and as he should. He deserves it. He has done nothing but bangers after bangers after bangers. And fuck it, fucking bring Michael B. Jordan along, because for some reason those two always seem to cook. So just bring him along. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, this movie already had a phenomenal opening weekend. Obviously, now we're way past the opening weekend, especially by the time this episode comes out. But box office wise, this movie did very well. Nowhere near as good as it should have, to be honest. It definitely should have made a whole lot more money because, I mean, listen, call it prisoner of the moment, whatever. I don't see any movie topping this in terms of enjoyment and just how good of a movie it is. This is kind of like Dune 2 came out very early last year, and that was one that was kind of like, I don't really see anything topping this for a while. The Batman did the same thing. That was a March debut. That came out 17 years ago at this point, I think, probably it feels like. Never going to get a Batman Part 2, whatever. But yeah, I mean, this is one that it came out early. Nothing's stopping it in my eyes, at least. I just don't see it happening. This was unbelievable. I saw it is probably going to be the highest grossing original movie, or it was something along those lines of.
It is. It is. Like, I think it officially did that. It officially broke for like the most like biggest box office opening weekend for an original film, like that wasn't already like an adapted screenplay of something.
Right.
So it wasn't a sequel. It wasn't like prior property that he had to make. It wasn't.
Right.
And then it also had the best second weekend as well, since it barely had a drop off. The drop off, I think, was only 35%. And I think for the most part, when it comes to a second weekend for most of these big movies, the drop off is normally like 50 plus. So to have only a 35% drop off is crazy. That means word of mouth worked after that first weekend, and people will continue to go see it, as they should. So if you haven't, if you haven't already, please support this film. This is one of those where you're like, this is what the industry needed. It needs more movies like this. Give creators like Ryan Coogler more freedom. Let them create. Because, I mean, it's well documented. This is a passion project for him. And he brought it to the big screen. And it was backed by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, in past recent history hasn't had the best of publicity when it comes to them and supporting their directors and their cast and crew. But this one, they actually did something correct for once, and as they should. So I'll just say, please, Hollywood, whatever execs, I know the suits are just caring about the money, but this is showing you that original content can make money if it's good and if it's allowed to be good. So, yeah.
I mean, it's just an R-rated horror movie. It's the highest grossing, or the highest rated one is what I meant to say. It's the highest rating, the Rotten Tomato score is unbelievable, as it should be. This movie's phenomenal. But yeah, like you said, this is one that people who, if you want to complain about Hollywood only makes remakes and reboots and all that stuff, if you didn't see Mickey 17 and if you don't see this, just shut up if you're going to try to complain about those things, because those are both, I mean, Mickey 17 kind of was, but I mean, original ideas that people should go support. Mickey 17 didn't do all that good in the box office. It deserved to do good. Coincidentally, they also were led by an actor playing, two of the same character. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those movies, like you said, Hollywood needed. That this just proves that when you have an incredible talent like Ryan Coogler, just whatever he wants to make, let him make it. And it's going to prove to be successful one way or another, box office wise or review wise. And thankfully, this is doing well in both those categories.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that we can really talk about? Because I mean, just going to be, before it gets into that Glaze Fest territory, I don't want to go on it too hard, but I mean, it deserves it, man. Honestly, this is it's one of those where I literally texted you afterwards, and I'm like, bro, I kind of want to just drive up to Missouri to because the closest one to us. Because I'm in Texas, Blake's in Missouri. The closest one to us would be meet me in the middle, sort of. And the biggest,
if you want to meet there, that's a way more of a drive for you.
That's a ways away. That's 8+ hours away, and 5+ hours for him or whatever.
It's
the biggest screen, or I guess the third biggest screen in the Midwest. And it just, dude, I just feel like I want to see it again on that big screen. It just deserves that that massive fucking screen, the big speakers, just let that fucking preacher boy play, bro. Oh, so good. It's so good.
Dude, I'm
I've been
pissed I
wanting to
wasn't
see
up
it.
in I'm pissed I wasn't up in Illinois for this to come out. And then there's people who were, less than 20 minutes away from a massive screen and just didn't put the effort in to go see this movie is crazy to me. How you could be so close to a huge theater. This was shot specifically for IMAX. One of the very few movies that does that. Obviously, Ryan Coogler talked a lot in the thank yous to Christopher Nolan for a lot of help with that. But yeah, to be so close to a theater like that, like I don't have one within anywhere near me. I think that 3 hours is the closest one. The fact that there's people out there that are less than 15 minutes away for one, it just didn't give this movie any attention, even though other people mentioned it, is crazy. But you look at the cast, you look at the person, it makes a lot of sense why they didn't. So overall, I mean, I honestly can't really think of anything to complain about with this movie. It's hard to try to give it any kind of critiques or anything. This movie is phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, go see it. You're not going to be able to see it on IMAX anymore because, like you said, Thunderbolts will be out, but it doesn't mean it's not worth seeing. I'm seeing it again this weekend, so I'm like, I have to see this at least in theaters one more time. So I'm doing that. I'm excited for that. But yeah, I mean, there's really nothing negative I can say about this.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I guess like a little nitpick would be like maybe like the jump scares at the start were a bit much, but then afterwards I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like the rest of the movie just
yeah.
It just did a lot, and by the end of it, it's like those like little nitpicks I had. I was like, I don't care. It doesn't like deter the score whatsoever. It's not like one of those big things where you're like, but if you remove it, it would have made it so much better. Like, nah, I don't think it really matters. And plus, it's a horror movie, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah,
I agree. They were a little bit like, okay, was that necessary? I feel like the ending, like the very ending where we get Sam being older, was a little like, for the most part, I was okay with it. But there's some things I was a little like, I don't know. That's like you said, that's really it. I mean, I guess we'll just wrap this up with our ratings. I'll be honest, this is a 9.5 out of for me. It's tough. There's, like we said, very few things I can nitpick to lower it a little bit. But I mean, 9.5. This movie was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. I'm not sure what I gave Dune Part 2 because I gave that one pretty high, but I think I'm going to give it a 9.4. I'm pretty sure I gave Dune like a 9.3. So I think this might be, on the channel at least, the highest rated movie that I've rated. It's a 9.4. So yeah, no,
it's valid. Like I said, that there's no way any movie's going to top this for the rest of the year at all to me. I don't see that happening. This movie's phenomenal. But
is it crazy to say that we might have new top 10s by the end of the year? That some stuff might be moved around. Like like the whole
arguably top 3s. What are we talking about? This movie's phenomenal.
The top 10 reviews, like when we do that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
That's what I figured. But
top 5s are changing. Top 3s possibly changing. This movie's great. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. I mean, like we said, cannot give this movie enough praises. So, as always, let us know in the comments down below if you did see this movie, what your thoughts were. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.